place after Joseph Knight has managed to pick his way through and past. The ST150s work their way onto the Bentley straight. Paul Dobson left on his own really. He's desperately trying to catch up to the tail end of the order. We'll have a look up towards the cameras. It's still Zachary Lucas leading the way. Simon Horobin remains in second place. Then we get back to Joseph Knight, Spencer Stevenson and Alistair Kelly is in on the mix as well. It's almost 2 for the lead and everybody else scrambling thereafter.
But that pace from Simon Horobin down the straight, second, down the straight, is possibly not the place to be.
You can see the roof getting ever closer. It's a real train of cars coming back past us in just a few moments' time. But it's Zachary Lucas in the lead of the race. He's built up enough of the margin on the exit of the final corner to be safe from Simon Horobin. Then we get back to Joseph Knight, and Alistair Kelly has gone from 6th on the grid up to 4th, and he's trying to work his way in towards the podium places. He's had a very quick run through turn 1. Morgan Kidd is trying to pick her way through and past the number 69 of Matt Chambers. We wait for the ST150s as they're now on their way.
It is, it's still Ethan Rogers again, but he's not having an easy time. It's that blue, it is sorry, that car that we weren't sure, it is actually car 24, so it was Matthew Pimblett who actually got the best of the starts, and I think briefly led on lap 1, but our pole man's got back in front, and again 3 abreast for one of the positions further back as they're going around there. We've got 2 distinct races, and they're both really exciting at the moment.
Yeah, I've got to say as well, Paul Dobson has already made up 1 position. I think he's managed to work his way through and past Jade Goodwin, so Jade's still getting to grips with that car by the looks of it. But Zachary Lucas struggling to work his way away from Simon Robinson, and then we've got Joseph Knight under a little bit of pressure from Alistair Kelly. Alistair, like we said, started in 6th. He's currently in 4th, trying to work his way up into 3rd place, much better on the brakes, massively closes up, takes the preferred line through Oggies, and he's closed up once again, but it'll be interesting to see what happens on the Bentley straight. We'll have a look back to Ethan Rogers leading the ST150 class in towards Agostini, still just about in the lead, being chased down by Matthew Pimblett. And the lead once again getting ever closer in the ST240s, working their way in towards Brundle and Nelson. But I've got a feeling Zachary Lucas will still just about hold on to the lead.
It was, I think, actually, they're looking across. I think Alistair Kelly was supposed to got Joseph Knight down the straight. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to change the position. Looking at the cameras, I think, in fact, no, it wasn't, but they have closed right up as they go into the bomb hole. So our 3rd place driver now under pressure from behind, and that could just open up that gap, I think, in the front 2.
Yeah, it could indeed, and Morgan Kidd still continuing to carve her way through and past the pack. She picked up another 2 or 3 places, so Morgan desperate to try and make up for a poor start, and driving angry. It will definitely make you drive quick, but it could introduce the mistakes. But there's 2 or 3 more positions. She's sizing her way up, but in towards what is it now, lap 3 we're heading on to. Well, lap 2 we're heading on to, pardon me. So Zachary Lucas, I think, looks to change the 3rd place at the moment. It looks like Joseph Knight under pressure from Alistair Kelly. Alistair Kelly is shown the long way around. He tries to then get the cut back, and we'll see what will come of that. Morgan Kidd is now trying to take on Marco Ricci in towards turn 1, who's already trying to work his way up another position as well, that being on Adam Burdis. But everything remains as it was on the exit of Wilson for what is now the 3rd time.
That's right, I think being so close into the first corner, they were half a second apart across the line. It's actually cost Simon Horobin a bit because he's pulling back. But this seems to be the part of the sector, I think, that he's actually quite quick in. We particularly see him now going down towards Agostini's. He's 4 or 5 lengths then, but going down the straight, it's I'm not sure if it's a straight line speed, and you wouldn't expect it in these cars. In fact, he's closed up tremendously on the brakes through Agostini.
Yeah, it has indeed. That battle for 3rd place getting ever closer, but just slightly quicker, whether it be in a straight line or on the exit of the corner. He looked like Joseph Knight just had a bit over Alistair Kelly behind. But the lead gap has opened up once again. Zachary Lucas much quicker through the Twiddley sector 2 than Simon Horobin. He's managed to extend that lead margin. But the battle for 3rd place is well and truly nose to tail. Joseph Knight under ever more pressure from Alistair Kelly. There's nothing really to pick between the pair of those 2. We have had a change in the lead of the ST150 class by the look of it. I've got a feeling Ethan Rogers has dropped down a couple of places.
He was leading across the line, so that's going to be in the first part of the lap.
No, he's still there. I'm getting him confused for one of the red cars further down the order. But he's sat there in 4th place. That will be the 41 of Samuel Watkins, who has come from row 18 on the grid, so that will be some 7th in class. He's managed to work his way right way up to 4th, so we're seeing lots of drivers carve their way up through the order, and in the early stages of the race he's trying to convert 4th in class already up to 3rd.
Interesting that we haven't got drivers doing that. Of course, we had a truncated qualifying session, didn't we, with a red flag. And in fact, they only had a couple of flying laps. So if you didn't actually get your time in there, we could be having drivers who've qualified and started out of position, shall we say, compared to where their pace really would have normally put them. Leader crosses the line now. This time he's not really under any pressure. He's actually able to take the line he wants into Riches. Hits the brakes, turns in. And I think we've always got the classic scenario here. These cars, the bunch of cars, better in different parts of the circuit.
Yeah, one thing to note as well, you can tell he's really of all of the braking performance in ST240 because the hazard lights come on. Morgan Kidd very late on the brake. You can see the tail end of the car dancing around. She's desperate to try and work her way through and past. That will be Adam Burdis for what is 12th in class, 12th overall as well. She had a quick look to the inside. On the exit of Wilson, she's got the inside line, has another look again, but on the run up towards Palmer, it looks like Adam Burdis managed to get the best run of the two. They're side by side, and I've got a feeling Morgan Kidd has just lost out to Marco Ricci after battling so hard. You've got to make sure, whilst you are attacking, you are keeping one eye on your rear view mirror, because
our third place battle is close as they're heading down towards Oggies, and they're side by side, and it's Alistair Kellett going to the outside. Not really where you want to be unless you can do the cutback and get to the inside on the run up to Williams.
And then we've had a big swap around as well. Further back, Adam Burdis has gone from leading that trio to now at the very tail end of that trio. Marco Ricci has managed to gain 2 places in the space of about a sector. Morgan Kidd still the meat in the sandwich, can't decide which way to go. Almost contact from behind, a big lunge up the inside, very wide goes Marco Ricci, all over the gravel, all over the grass. Morgan Kidd picks up that place, so too does Adam Burdis. The car behind her couldn't quite pick out exactly who it was, gets through as well. We'll wait for the battle for the lead. We've got a car off on the exit of Nelson, so I'm not 100% sure how long that car's been there, but through Brundle and Nelson that will be covered by wave yellows. I've got a feeling we've had a change for 3rd place as well. That looks like Alistair Kellett has managed to work his way through and past Joseph Knight.
They were very close when they went out of our sight, so I think that's going to be the case. Coming back into our sight now, there's a few gaps opened up where we didn't have gaps previously. That's interesting. But our lead pair crossing the line in the same order, so it's still Zach Lucas from Simon Horobin. But yes, it is Alistair Kellett, 6th on the grid, now running 3rd.
Yeah, so he's got that position somewhere around the lap. Oliver Turner from 8th on the grid has managed to work his way up to 5th, and he's trying to now work his way through and past Joseph Knight. A great little battle heading in towards turn 1. That will be between Cooper Luff and May. So Caitlin May at the tail end of that, trying to work her way past Matt Luff. And Morgan Kidd, having just got past Mark Adam Burdis, already started to open up the gap. We push back towards the ST150, working their way through Coram now. Ethan Rogers, he's got a dominating lead margin. At the moment, we've had a change to 3rd place. So it is Ethan Rogers still ahead of Matthew Spender, but I can't quite pick who that is in 3rd place, but they definitely weren't there a lap ago.
They weren't. I'm just trying to work that out as well, actually, looking at car colours as they come into our sight. So it's obviously one of the red cars who's actually closed right down on Matt Pimblett. And it is car 41. Samuel Watkins. He's flying from that way back on the grid. And ducks inside Matthew Pimblett. And he's moved into 2nd place. So it's red cars 1 and 2 in the ST150s.
Yeah, an amazing move in towards turn 1. Worked his way up the inside, did Samuel Watkins of Matthew Pimblett, and then parked the car on the apex, so he didn't have the chance to cut back up the inside. Very well driven there from Samuel Watkins. That will be from 7th on the grid right the way up to 2nd in class, and he's lapping very quickly indeed, trying to convert 7th into starting a 7th place, trying to convert that into the lead of the race. We'll have a look for our race leaders who are already working their way through the bomb hole now, and it is definitely 3 for the lead. It's still Zachary Lucas leading Simon Horobin, but Alistair Kellett having a fairly slow start to the race, but working his way through as the race wears on. The top 3 very equidistantly spread, and back under pressure once again is Joseph Knight for 4.
It is just keeping an eye actually on that ST150 battle, and we've actually now got Sam Watkins up into 2nd, but he's got a long way to go to catch that leader. There's a good 3 or 4 seconds gap there as the other race crosses the line.
Yeah, so the race for the lead in the ST240 still nose to tail. Zachary Lucas leading Simon Horobin. Alistair Kellett having worked his way up from 6th position already up into third, trying to make that second as they run up towards the Wilson hairpin once again, lapping very quickly. Alistair Kelly, Joseph Knight, only going backwards at this point, can't quite find the pace in that car. We look towards Brundle and Nelson and wait for our lead battle in the ST150s to appear, which they do now. It is still Ethan Rogers leading the way by quite a substantial margin. We'll have to keep an eye on the gap between himself and Samuel Watkins. But in towards Brundle and Nelson once again, and potentially retaking to the circuit is Sean Reynolds into the pit lane with some sort of issue. The bonnet was lifted, a bit of attention being paid, but that car back out on circuit.
Lead battle action for the ST240 is now heading down towards Hamilton, and they are equally spread, and the closest the top three has been the full race is still that this is from Simon Horrigan with Alistair Kellett. But Alistair Kellett just seems to have the pace of the race, taking yards out of Simon Horrigan on the break. He has a big think about diving down the inside of the grey car to move into third, but they're going back now, turning right through Williams onto the Bentley straight.
Back across the start-finish line comes our leader in the ST150 class. 3.2 seconds separating the leaders now between Ethan Rogers and Samuel Watkins. Samuel Watkins still pushing forward, having made up second place only a few laps ago, has already started to eat into that lead margin. We wait for our leaders in the ST240 class to appear. We try and pick out exactly where those cars are, heading through Brundle and Nelson now in towards the bomb hole, and even closer this time is Alistair Kellett to Simon Horrigan. Have you spotted something?
No, I was just waiting for him to come into sight. Here is that trio of cars. Again, they're having spread out earlier in the lap. They're now equally distant. If anything, Simon Horrigan is actually trying to move on Zach Lewis. You see, he thought about that for a moment, but he's tucked back in. They're all taking the line they want from Murray's, looking for that perfect exit to give them a good run down the straight and into Riches.
Yes, there's still very little to pick between all of them. It's really important to get a good run out of the final corner at Murray's, and across the start-finish line come our lead trio once again. Like you said, Simon Horrigan is definitely getting closer and closer to Zachary Lucas. He is being ushered forward by Alistair Kellett. We have had a change of position for fourth place. Joseph Knight lost out on the lap prior. That will be to the number 22 of Oliver Turner from 8th on the grid, already up to 4th. Joseph Knight from 3rd has dropped his way down to 5th place, not exactly going his way. We look for our leaders in the ST150 class. Morgan Kidd comes back past us once again and has built up quite the substantial margin to the car behind, that being the number 15 of Marco Ricci. Adam Burdis has gone backwards once again. He's lost yet another position. We'll try and figure out where our ST150 leaders are.
ST250 group actually just heading into Agostini. Again, this is now Zach Lucas has now pulled out a little bit of gap. Simon Harrigan's come out looking in his mirrors.
Yeah, dropping to put between the pair of them. It seems like if there's a battle for the lead, that'll last about a lap, and then it will drop back down to the battle for 3rd place, and who wants it? But at the moment, Simon Horrigan's still under pressure from Alistair Kellett. Alistair Kellett desperately trying to work his way up the inside. Very good spot earlier on, by the way. He's very confident on the brakes, Alistair Kellett. He's definitely taking time out of Simon Horrigan into the heavy braking zone, specifically in towards Oggies is where we see the lead battle get closer and closer. Back across the start-finish line in a few moments' time comes the battle for the lead in ST150. It's not really a battle at this point, however. Ethan Rogers and Samuel Watkins very, very equally paced. That gap has stayed about the same for the final few laps.